Love Liberia, think Liberia, and build Liberia. Wow, a very wonderful message there from His Excellency President Joseph Yoma Boakai of the Republic of Liberia. And we want to say hi, fam. And how was the weekend? Hope that the weekend was pleasantly well for you and for your family members and all those around you. It's good. It is my pleasure to always have you on Nightline Liberia. And of course, it comes on the station at about this time up to 11 p.m. And it is all intended for us to discuss the progress of Liberia. We discuss different issues that I intended for you, the wonderful people of this nation and the world all over. And this program is a program that invites people from different backgrounds, people with the ideas that are intended to make Liberia great again. Liberia, since 1847, we are still a Republican nation, and we need that Republic attitude from all of us. When you think about the goodness of your nation, it helps to build you up. And thank God that this is my debut. Melvin Stewart is my name. And graciously, tonight on the platform, we have several issues to discuss. Remember, 9 o'clock, we will take a break. 9 o'clock, we take 50 minutes news break. After which, we return with the continuation of the program. And tonight, a very staunch activist for the Liberian young people is with me, Vandela Patricks. You know, I long wished to have had Vandela Patricks when I was practicing journalism in Bon County. I always spoke with you on the line, on telephone, but today is good that I have with me in studio Vandela Patricks, a very strong activist of the young people's vision. So yes, of course, a lot of good things to talk about. And graciously, Taka Goligio is carrying us live on the show. Johnson Wallace is at controls, making sure that we get all of the sounds that you are hearing tonight. So listen, let me just give you something that we will be talking about tonight. Then we take a bit of break. We will take a break. Then when we come back, we get all of our things on course. You observe that the Commerce Ministry has opened the rice market. The last time I was telling somebody it's a free market system economically. And luckily, Vandela Patrick is an economist and he graduated from Cutita with high honor, you know. So we will talk about this. What does it mean for Liberia to have a free rice importation for our country? Anyone who wishes to bring rice to Liberia, who wants to feed the Liberian people, the market is opened. We will speak on that. Then we will also look at the pronouncement.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia.
People who want to bring rice.
From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Cape Mount, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Crew, Bapoli, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Tour, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon.
And we will have to digest
Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9
You can eat our rice as well. Then we will also look at something very important, looking at the president, Joseph Boakai, who has just held a discussion with her for a virtual discussion with Elon Musk. I don't know whether that's the real name, but Vandala Patrick, who is always up in the US, he knows about this. He knows how to pronounce this name so clearly, but it's Elon Musk, and he's the world's wealthiest businessman. Can you imagine if your president can hold such a great talk with a great man? That could mean for that tells the people of Liberia that yes, of course, the people of Liberia will stand a better chance to benefit something good. So yes, of course, we want to have these discussions tonight. We will also look into something like this from the Supreme Court of Liberia tonight. Is the legal legal arm of our country. The Supreme Court is the last place. We would say in our simple way that this place is the place that we find our justice as a country and also as a people. So just of course, these are tough talking points tonight on Nightline Liberia, and we want to welcome it again. Hope that we can have a very frank discussion tonight, and let us be very much civil. Civility pays a lot. If you want to be part of this program, we want you to be very respectful, because the issues that you are about to discuss are issues that are important to the country, and these issues can be handled by those that are constituted, right? When I say constituted, those that were given the mantle of authorities to steer the affairs of the country. Constitutional authority doesn't need the respect. So, because tomorrow you will be in that particular portfolio and you will deserve same respect from others that will be around you. So we'll take a break, but again, let me welcome Vandala. Vandala, hello, how you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. It's good to be here, and thank you for that great recognition. I remember way back when I was a student activist at Cottington, we interacted with a couple of great people. And it's good to see you on such a wide national platform, and keeping our people informed. And I'm happy to be here sitting with you. And I'm also excited, from your presentation, adding value to the discourse. It speaks volumes. It tells us that Liberian journalists are improving on a daily basis. And I hope that someday, who knows, you might be on CNN, Fox News, or BBC. But I'm happy to be here and sitting with you tonight. Thank you.
And yes, of course, we pray for the better for state radio as well. But wonderful again. So we take a break. When we come back, then we get everything started.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wardisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Cape Mount, River G, to the coast of Sinai, Bassa, Bond, Riverside, Maryland, Margini, Grand Crew, Bapolu, Grand Jude, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tone. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds. Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene.
Vandela Patrick is one of the panelists tonight on the program, and together we are serving you this nighttime program. Like I said earlier on, you are aware that Liberia, our country, Liberia, is a country that we all depend on the food we call rice. Rice, we call it staple food. If we don't eat rice on a daily basis, we have not eaten anything. Even if you can eat the cassava, you can swallow the dumbo, you can swallow the fufu, whatever, you eat whatever. If you have not eaten rice, it means that you have not eaten anything. So yes, of course, we have a couple of individuals, potential individuals online tonight. Thomas Guo is online as well watching this thing, and he will have his contribution to make tonight. He's the Deputy Director General for Administration here at the Liberia Broadcasting System. We will also have online the Director General Eugene Lamy Fagan. He will be live on as well. He will give his take on some of the issues we'll be talking on tonight. You know, these are Liberians with their different opinions, positive opinions for the good of Liberia. So it's always good that we have them on these kinds of occasions. When we have them, we talk about the goodness of Liberia. So let me just get to the point tonight, along with Vandela Patricks. Mr. Patricks, let me say welcome again. Why we're trying to get our other panelists online tonight. Welcome again.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here always, and like I always say, it's good to inform our people on issues that are of great relevance. And being here tonight speaks volumes of that, and it's good to be here, anyways.
Thank you. What do you make of your current economic status? Before we get into our rice business, because this is our number food we eat here. How do you see the economic status of Liberia?
I can speak for myself. It's so tough for yourself. So I don't know why it's in the pockets of others. But what I can say is that I'm grateful for Liberia. I'm happy to be back. A couple of years back, I was in the States schooling. And since I came back, we're trying to create jobs for ourselves. And we hope that the economy will get better and jobs will be created under this regime and that things will be improved. And so basically, I'm still managing, like other people say, I'm managing. So I am technically managing, doing little consultancy. And we're hoping that, investors can pour in this country, create jobs for our people, especially the young people, many of whom are unemployed. So I'm okay. I want to be grateful to
government. So you're managing for now. So tentatively you are residing here.
I'm not tentatively residing. I have officially moved back to Liberia.
Oh, you left the U.S.?
Oh, yeah, I left the U.S. U.S. for Americans. Vandela Patrick went there for school, and since my graduation, I am back in Liberia. And Liberia is good. It's a very good place to be, and I always encourage people. If you never traveled in America before, you will always want to go there. Remember many times I used to go, I see the U.S. Embassy. I imagine America, but we went there, we danced there, we ate there, we saw the lifestyle there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going right back to Liberia. I think Liberia needs people like us to contribute towards national development with sincerity and integrity. So I'm back.
Good. Vandela Patrick, you are from the financial background. I stand to be corrected. let us look at this thing that has to do with the open market system, giving the opportunity to all those who are outside or even inside this nation who want to contribute in terms of bringing rice to our country. And this is our staple food. As an economist, what is your own way of analyzing this?
Well, let me sincerely state that I come from the public sector background. I am a student of public administration. The economists and the financial experts will state clearly about the economic benefit in terms of how much the country is going to generate. But as a student of public administration, I believe the decision by the Ministry of Commerce to open the market is good because it creates competition. When there is a competition, the citizens will benefit. I'll give you an example. When Lone Star came in this country, Lone Star was selling the same car for $65. At that time, some of us could not afford, and I'm talking about 2002. And, a lot of people at that time, if you have a Lone Star phone, it means you were a great person. But the emergence of another GSM company saw some level of competition. I'm talking about Comion, and then Comion came later. I'm talking about Cellcom, which is now called Orange. When Cellcom came at that time, they reduced. I think they started selling SIM card from $65, taking competition with Lone Star, and it came to $5. They were selling theirs $5. And gradually today, you can get a SIM card just for $200. So once the rice market is open, I am very optimistic that the prices of rice will drop. People will not be selling bag of rice for perhaps $15, $18, sometimes $20. The more people invest in the rice business in this country, there will be competition, and the citizens will have the opportunity, to enjoy. No one will have monopoly over the importation of rice. From what I gather, there are 6 rice importers in the country that are bringing huge quantity of rice in the market. And out of these 6 importers, you have 5 that are foreigners and only 1 Liberian. So the opening of the rice market is to create competition, not just competition, but to allow Liberians to invest in the rice industry.
Mr. Patrick's opening the rice market. Somebody will be thinking as to whether it will not have any backfire, it will not have any adverse effects on the lives of the Liberian people, because having a free flow of market system that will lead to some instability.
No, I think for me, the proper regulation should be put into place, and that will be the second phase of my discussion. And I'm sure when all our panelists give their input,
of course,
we will be able to dive into that. But for now, it's important to say that if you have more people bringing rice in the market, there will be competition. So if you are selling your rice for $50 or maybe $15, another person will sell it for $30 for the big bear. I'm talking about the 100 kilo, or maybe I will choose to sell my own for $10. So the more we create an opportunity for people to genuinely invest in the economy, there will be market competition, and the ordinary citizens will enjoy, like the example I just gave you. But once the other panelists give their own input, I can guarantee you will be able to draw a line for that.
That is for sure, sir. So we will go to our following our colleagues. We call them the colleagues in this discussion tonight. They are watching us, and they are outside from the studio. So we will hear from Thomas Guo, and that of Samson Brown. We hope that we can get Eugene Fagon, the tough talking Director General. But let's hear from Thomas Guo on this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you probably have some breaking transmission. But like Vandala Patrick said, this is a very good thing, because what it's going to do is going to open the market up, and there will be more rice sellers, and the more sellers we
but
have.
Okay, if Samuel,
are we there? The most rice we have on the market, the lower the price.
We can hear from Thomas Guo now. Thomas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you getting me?
We can't just get Thomas Guo. We can get he's speaking, but we can hear him. But we feel that it is something that they need to give their inputs. Okay, Thomas, thank you so much, Thomas. Thomas?
Yeah, do you get me now? Get me?
Thomas?
I'm here. Do you get me?
I think we have some
technical problems. Thomas, are you there?
I'm here. I hear you. So it's like you don't hear me.
Okay, Thomas. Thomas, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's go for break and then we'll come out.
Oh my goodness.
program moment, I come on me, never got to Hey! Hello, hello, hello,
Yes, of course. We want to say welcome again. You know, sometimes these technical things happen, and when they happen, we have to embrace ourselves to them, Vandala.
Yeah, obviously,
even in America, that you have been.
Just my voice. Do you guys hear me now?
You can sometimes it's almost like vehicle while you are moving and something happen and that's it. I think we have a very serious technical problem tonight with the internet, and we hope that this can be addressed
very short.
Yes,
it will be done. So we were discussing about the open market, the open system for people coming over. So my question was, is this something that is wealthy for Liberians?
It's good, but it has its own implications provided things are not done in the right direction. There's no problem. I want to ask some critical questions. I thought that my fellow panelists will have come online so that we can debate this issue. I'm interested in knowing as to whether a survey was done. In the first place, there has been a dominance of foreigners when it comes to the importation of rice in the market. And I understood that out of 6 importers of rice in the country, 5 are foreigners. Only 1 Liberian business and owner that is importing rice in this country. But then opening the market to allow other people to import rice is
the regulations.
Yeah, the regulation is one. My understanding is that I think they call it the RPs. Was necessary at the time was to open the market, but again the government at that time had its own reason as to whether to open the rice market to several Liberians to import rice or not.
Interrupting Vanilla, you guys hear me now?
But this one is good. It's a very good idea to open the market. But does this address the existing problems of Liberians not being able to bring rice in the market? I think these are issues we should be looking at. 5 foreigners bring huge quantity of rice in the market. It's not just a political commodity, but economic commodity. These foreigners make millions of dollars. The last time I was here, and I stressed an issue of the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Commerce to send a delegation to where the rice is being imported from. My understanding is that Taiwan or India, Middle India. So I wanted the Ministry of Commerce and Industry.
You hear me now?
To have sat down, do a comprehensive research. Do a comprehensive research as to whether the importation of rice from these countries I just mentioned, they are reliable, not just reliable, but it's done based on transparency. For example, it's possible that an importer, one of those importers will import rice, maybe they will buy a bag of rice from India for $10, bring it to Liberia and sell it for $25. So you're talking about extra $15 profit on each bag of rice. Is it realistic? So for me, I wanted the Minister of Finance, or not the Minister of Finance, Minister of Commerce, and that of the government of Liberia to have sent a fact-finding team to India to investigate as to how much.
How could that work?
No, impossible.
How could that work?
Invest. Look, in the first place, I still believe that many of those rice importers in our country, they are milking the Liberian people. They are generating millions of dollars. So, for example, if you bring 4 million bag of rice in the country, or let's say 2 million bag of rice in the country, on every bag of rice, you have like $10. You know what you're talking about?
You got excess amount.
You get extra $2 million or more. If you bring $2 million, I mean 2 million bag of rice in this country, and you add $10 on it, you generate millions of dollars. So my thing is, it's not just about opening the market. We want to know if maybe John Brown goes to China or goes to Taiwan or India to buy a bag of rice. One bag of rice, maybe they buy the bag of rice in India for like $10. Maybe the transportation cost they bring it in the country and sell it for 25. That is exorbitant. You exploit the people. So the Ministry of Commerce should be more careful on investigating. It's not just opening the market, but opening the market with certain restriction. If the government is not informed as to how the importers are buying the rice in other countries to come and sell it in the Liberian market, these people will dictate to us how much they will sell the rice. Oh, I bought my rice and bringing it in the country and the custom detail here and there, so I'm selling it for $25. They will justify. But if the government is informed, and this is where I have argued that the government should send people to these areas
to do fact funding.
So when the importer is selling bag of rice for $25, we say no. We went to the same India and we realized that the bag of rice that you brought in the country here, you bought one for $10. It's not possible to come and sell it $25. You help the citizen. While you open the market, you should do check and balances so that the importers do not go to exploit the citizen.
Okay, Vandala Patrick. We will go now to hear from Guo. He's Thomas Guo. He's online tonight. Thomas, welcome.
Yes, do you guys hear me now?
Liberia.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, Thomas. Thank God. Thank God. You know, technology here, sometimes we have problem with it, but it's always good that we try to check and do our best. Welcome.
While we're trying to get in. Like he rightly stated, this is a very good step towards bringing the price of rice down in Liberia, because when you have more suppliers, it means that you have more supplies, and the higher the supply, as the economists say, the lower the price. Okay. There will be a lot of innovation. You have people who create different means of how they input the rice, what they can do to cut down the cost. There will, the value of the kind of rice that will be brought, the quality of the rice will all be affected, because people will try to bring something that the consumers want. If you bring junk, the people will definitely refuse it or not buy it at all. So it's very important. But one thing that I would like to point out is that it is important that if we want to create a level playing field to be able to support the Liberian businesses, to be able to have access to money that is finance, and infrastructure. Because if these people don't have the money, if Liberian businesses don't have the money, it's going to be difficult for them to be able to compete with these guys who have already been in business who have millions of dollars. So one of the requirements, the guidelines I saw in the Ministry of Finance guidelines is requesting Ministry of Finance guidelines. I think I'm getting a feedback, so that might be the person, the host. You might need to mute your mic or something. Okay, great. All right, so one of the guidelines I saw is it's 2.4 under the guidelines. It says 2.4. It says, the business must have proof of financial ability, providing bank guarantee or letter of credit no less than $500,000 United States dollars, or an equivalent to cover the cost of the initial input. $500,000 is a lot of money for, a new business or even Liberian businesses. If we want to open it up, we should probably lower this amount, this requirement a bit, or if we can provide access for entrepreneurs to be able to, get these fundings from somewhere, not just provide them with the access to get the money, especially from these banks, but there should be some form of or low interest rate, low interest rate, rather, because that will incentivize the entrepreneur to be able to venture into the business, as we know that business is a risk. So that's just my initial input, but that is what I will encourage the government to do, to lower that amount a little bit, and then be able to provide our entrepreneurs with the access to financing through our commercial banks, even if it is providing them low interest rate, and also kind of removing some of the regulatory requirements that may be stumbling blocks or obstacles in their securing such loans. Thank you. That's my initial input.
I think you're muted. Can't hear you, Presenter Melvin. Melvin, I don't know if it's just me, but can anybody else hear Melvin? Because I think he's muted from my end. Melvin, you are muted.
Muted. Oh my God, I'm muted. I don't know what's happening. Oh, so what we do? Can we get to? Is it so? Yeah.
I think he's there.
Okay, Samson, are you there?
Yes,
Samson,
yes, I am.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, Samson, I'm getting you. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, I am.
So I was asking you, Vandala Patrick is right here with me live in studio. So we want to hear from you tonight. The Liberian people want to hear from you. What does it make for a country like Liberia to have an open system for our rice, our stable food? What is your own idea on that?
Well, thank you very much. I hope I'm audible. I want to push back a little bit on my little brother, Mr. Patrick.
Yes, you are okay.
That America, America is for Americans, and he was only here for a very good few times, which we appreciate. To be honest with you, I'm very jealous of Mr. Patrick to be able to come here and go back. But those of us that are here, not only are we working, but we also came here, and some of us came here at a very difficult time, that we cannot just pack up after school and go back home. Why I do really appreciate Mr. Patrick honestly going back to help our people back home. We just cannot do that, but we are still here and still able to contribute our people back home. Back to the rice issue, but we are still here and still able to. As far as the rice issue is concerned, I think if you go down the list of what the government trying to do, which is notable and very good, but I believe what Thomas just stated, and the little part that I heard, I think that would be very good. The little part back home, I'm an engineer by the way. I do help brothers and sisters back home to do some engineering and things like that. And it's very difficult for them to even get boundaries. It's very difficult for them to even get government help. And most of the time when they get it's only them stay there. And most of the time when so I hope this is not one of those things that the government trying to do now. Get people clean, and then they are not able to pay these people to pay their employees. That's one section. And then the other section that I want to point out is this huge amount of money the government is saying that any individual, Liberian, whatever foreigner, but if you must have at least $500,000, which is good. My goodness. In Liberia, In Liberia.
Are you there, Mr. To? Mr. To? Oh, so what we are still trying to exert all efforts to get Mr. To. So what we do, if we can get Mr. Mr. Suya, Mr. Sisi,
Goya.
Mr. Sisi Suya,
Goya,
Goya.
Yeah, Goya.
Yes, okay, sir. Sisi Goya. Are you from Nimba?
No, I'm from Lofa County.
Mr. Goya.
Yes, sir.
Lofa County. You eat too much tabagi? I know. But anyway, welcome to the show tonight. It's good having you. Vandana Patrick is here, and together we are doing this thing along with you as well.
There's never such a thing as too much tabagi. Any amount you eat is just right. So there's never too much of tabagi. There's never such a thing as too much tabagi. Any amount you eat is just right. So there's never too much of tabagi.
Go ahead, Mr. Goya.
Good evening to my fellow panelists.
So we're talking about this rice issue. I know you eat rice too much too, wherever you are.
Man, I am still a typical Liberian, even though I live in the United States.
What's the take on this thing that we're talking about tonight? Open market on rice importation in Liberia.
Well, first, it's a good thing to have an open market to allow market forces to determine sometimes price and supply and demand, all those other pieces. We get it, and I think this is way overdue. So whatever poly there was, monopoly, whatever it was, is good to bring up a system that breaks that apart. My concern, I think, my brother Thomas alluded to that when I came on and heard him. It is about the $500,000. I think that's cost prohibitive. I think we cannot be saying that on one hand we want to elevate Liberian businesses and Liberian-owned businesses and to get Liberians into being competitive, but on the other hand, undercut their ability to be competitive with such a huge amount. I understand the national security implication that comes with our staple food. I understand the historical context of the rice problem. But I think there can be a way to massage that number from 500,000 that still allows for greater participation of Liberian businesses in the importation of rice and still allows for a maintaining the security and the security risks that come with just having everybody who does not have the financial backing to get involved in our national staple importation. So that would just be my one piece. Is thanks to the government for thinking about this and making sure that we can have competing folks and businesses involved in importing rice, but I also hope that they can go back and look at the calculus that led them to coming up with the 500,000 and see if they can massage that a little bit. With the 500,000 and see if they can massage that a little bit.
Sometimes competing priorities can be jeopardized. Are you taking into consideration that, sir?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't think these are competing priorities. I think if we look at them in the grand scheme, I think they are together. One thing is we're trying to make sure we have more rice on the market, right? We're trying to make sure we get away from those times where there's been a very short supply of rice, and then you've had very unscrupulous business people hoarding these rice and then increasing the price because they've created artificial scarcity. So we want to make sure we're dealing with that piece and all of the protest and everything that comes along with rice shortage. And then we also want to deal with the issue where Liberians for a long time have been kept out of this part of the economy, and we want to make sure we're bringing Liberians in. We those two things work together, and I think even the security issue associated with that works to work with that, because as it is right now, if you have a $500,000 threshold, I think, and I want to be very careful here, I think you will have a very small pool of Liberians and still a wider and larger pool of foreign nationals. And there's nothing against foreigners. participating in our economy. But if surely this is about trying to ensure that we have a lot more Liberian businesses and Liberians involved in this, I don't think they are competing needs. I think they go together, and I think they support each other.
Yes. So I have another view to that. I think, like I said before, the move is good. But I think from what I've seen it's a statement of political correctness. And we have to be very objective about this. I have argued that most public officials do not invest we saw what happened in previous regime. Somebody just woke up, went to UL and said, let there be free tuition. They were contemplating about the University of Liberia and say free tuition for all public institutions, colleges and universities. And people from Tottenham University, TNIMA, it choked the government, and the government came under severe pressure. This one, you make a political statement that is not backed by statistics, survey, or research that will give you an opportunity to say, we are making this statement because we want to open the rice market. How can you open the rice market when you have a threshold of 500,000? You know, these were the same conditions that existed that made Liberians not to import rice. They do not have $500,000, $500,000 in their account, in their bank account. You came, you sat down, you saw that this, I am sure the Ministry of Commerce had investigated why Liberians, out of the 6 biggest importers of rice in this country, 5 are foreigners, only 1 Liberian. I stand to be corrected. If the ministry was interested in knowing the root causes of why Liberians are not participating, they would have invested more in research. This is not the way to address issues.
So let me hold you there quickly. So if these are not the ways that people should address the issues, you are a patriotic Liberian, a person who feels that Liberia needs to be better. That's why you returned from the US and came back. What is the way forward?
The way forward is that 2 ways forward. One, I would have expected the Ministry of Commerce and Industry to assemble some of the best economists in this country, some of the best policy makers, to sit down and solicit their views. When you solicit the views of people, I told you the rice is a political commodity in this country. Anything you saw, you know, in previous years,
1979 rice,
right? You know that. In previous years, we went to war because of food. So since rice has become a political commodity, you need to assemble some of the best decision makers, economists, financial experts to sit down and guide your decision. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry has made several mistakes in recent time. The other day, without consulting the office of the president and collecting all the rice importers, these are people who are interested in making business, asking them to reduce the cost of rice.
Does that hamper the economy?
It hampers the economy because the government is not in control. You can only be in control when you send your fact finding team to where these rice are being imported from. If you send me, if I were Minister of Commerce, I send maybe about 2-3% on a working trip to India where the rice is being imported from, to sit with the Indian government, investigate and see as to how people from Liberia are importing rice. Apparently, these people have been lying to us. They buy a bag of rice over there for $10, bring it in the Liberian market and sell it for $25. And so the more you open the market, right now they are telling us to open the market. It's a very good idea. This is not something for us to question. But look at the benchmark. You know, you must have 500,000 to import rice. But most importantly, at this time, And I'd like to challenge the government to be very proactive in the arrest agenda that allow His Excellency Joseph Nyuma Boaka, President of the Republic of Liberia, to come to power is the arrest agenda. ARREST. Number one on the arrest is agriculture. The current budget, the Ministry of Agriculture has less than $5 million. You are talking about 5.6 million people in the country. So to have an agenda that recognizes agriculture as a priority, to have given them less than $10 million, when you put in the budget, I think $4.5 million, I think 4.3, 4.5 million, cannot feed us.
And one surety that was given to the Liberian people was from when I had an interview with the chair on agriculture at the House of Representatives, Zinanomer from Bapolo County. He said there was some boost into the budgetary allotment. So I think there are some prospects.
No, I think for me, I'm encouraging the government that next budget, we cannot have 5 million or 6 million to boost the agriculture sector in this country. How can we sit in the country and people feed us? We should grow what we eat. So allowing people to import rice in the country, we are just creating, billionaires and millionaires, in the foreign sector. Because imagine, do you know why 6 importers are foreigners? These guys have milked the resources of this country. They have generated millions of United States dollars and billions of Liberian dollars. They sit quietly. Imagine if you bring 2 million bags of rice in this country. On every bag of rice, maybe you have $5 profit. You know what you're talking about? You're talking about millions of dollars, and this thing has gone for years. So for me, I will encourage this government to invest more in agriculture. The arrest agenda talks about agriculture. You cannot be talking about promoting agriculture when you are giving the Minister of Agriculture less than $5 million. I think this is not being sincere. And the importation of rice, you said the benchmark is $500,000, 500 million. Liberians, because we are being economically challenged, Liberian businesses have been challenged significantly. So, like what Mr. Thomas Guo said, let's relax. Or we can say, look, these importers that have the benchmark, or maybe they have in their account 500 million, we can place a condition that in order to allow you import rice, you must have a Liberian importer part of that particular business, so that over a period of time, these people can generate and make them, viable to import rice on their own.
I will hear shortly from 2 of the panelists tonight. But are you aware that you are a public administrator, and are you also in the know that there are some insincere investors that will come with the mindset of helping to grow the economy of a country, at the end of the day to turn it down? You've been around the world.
Oh, of course, people will always, business people are not sincere, not 100%. Some are sincere, but the idea of a business person is to maximize profit, is to make profit. So for me, the intent from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry is good, but like what my other panelists said, Big Brother Toe, Goya, and that of Thomas Guo, I think the 500,000 benchmark to be in your account before importing rice is huge. If we do that, we'll only have more foreigners coming into the market because they meet the requirement. Because they did not give specific percent to appearance.
Vandala, let us hold you right there. We can speak. We want to hear the view just in a few minutes, because 9 o'clock is our 50 minutes news bulletin on this radio. So we want to hear from Thomas Guo. Thomas, let's hear from you quickly.
I think Thomas
is offline, so we can hear from Samson. Samson, hello. Samson, we can hear from you quickly before the news. If Samson, are you there? If we can't get Samson, then we go to Mr. Koya.
Yeah, probably it's Goya, but we're learning from today. Yeah,
we want to hear your view quickly.
I think real quick on what my brother Mandela spoke about regarding the
okay, Mr. Goya.
Regarding the arrest agenda and the budget, not conversion. I want to say, like you said, step back a little bit, right? For me, I want to look at was there increase from prior years to those pieces that constitute the agenda, the arrest agenda. And if there weren't increases, then I have an issue. Like for me, I am a teacher here. My biggest piece in the arrest agenda is education. I saw that there was an increase in the education budget, but not enough for what I wanted it to be. Now we have to realize that, like you said, Stewart, that there are competing needs, right, in our country. But one of the things for me, I'm looking at from this first budget is did this government intentionally go out to increase the budgetary allotment for those part of our economy of our government that support the arrest agenda. And in education, I say yes, they did. I will also argue that in agriculture they did. Now, did they do to the extent
Okay.
education?
So, Miss
argue that in agriculture they did. Now, did they do to the extent of one?
Mr. Goya, we will have a lot of things to talk about tonight. So what we do right now is to let you to have a bit of rest. After 15 minutes, we'll rejoin you all tonight for the rest of the discussions. So because it's already 9 o'clock and we have to join our news team. Thank you so much. Thomas Guo, please be there. Samson Brown too, please be there. Hope that Eugene Fagon can join us later on tonight on this platform. Keep listening to Nightline Liberia on ELBC Radio. Vandala Patricks is right here with me in studio. Vandala, we can take our news.
This is a journey into radio.
The station,
ELBC.
the dial,
99.9.
the city,
Kingsville.
Catch us on this frequency.
evaluation. Mr. Harris said the member states have made considerable progress in implementing the technical requirements of Financial Action Task Force standards. He said significant gaps also exist in the implementation of preventive measures by promoting entities due to the inadequate understanding of risks and weak customers' due diligence, among others. Mr. Harris maintained that the Financial Action Task Force has identified areas where implementation of technical requirements is insufficient. He said implementation of technical requirements is essential to ensure effective enforcement and effective monitoring of financial institutions. This news broadcast comes to you from ELBC, the radio service of the Liberia Broadcasting System. We broadcast from Painesville. The principal of the Haywood Mission Institute, the Reverend Leo Massaboy Simpson, has been bestowed the Distinguished Academic Giant of the Century Award in Maryland, the United States of America. The award was presented to Bishop Simpson over the weekend by the school's U.S.-based Alumni Association during its annual reunion. Presenting the honor, the president of the Haywood Mission Institute Alumni Association in the U.S., Theo Wiapla Jiple, commended Bishop Simpson for his significant contributions in enriching the lives of students, teachers, and families for nearly half a century. Mr. Jiple described Bishop Simpson's exceptional stewardship as a shining example of distinguished leadership. Receiving the awards, Bishop Leo Simpson thanked the Alumni Association for recognizing and honoring him. Bishop Simpson expressed delight to have made meaningful contributions in the education sector of Liberia for nearly 50 years. The Haywood Mission Institute principal, who began his service in 1981, is the longest-serving school administrator in Liberia. The tough-talking bishop is expected to be retired later this year. He was best known for instilling discipline and academic excellence in students. The government of Liberia has expressed sadness over the passing of Liberian journalist Trojan Kiazulu. Information Minister Jeremy Pia described the late Kiazulu's death as shocking, referring to his professional impact to the media as tremendous to ethical standard of journalism. Minister Pia, on behalf of the government, extended his sympathy to his family as well as the Press Union of Liberia, noting that his demise has left a gap in the Liberian media. The Liberian journalist who has worked at the Prime FM as co-host of the Prime Money Drive prior to his death. The late Kia Zulu contributed immensely as a sports journalist and recently contested for the presidency of the Sports Writers Association Liberia SWAB. According to reports, he died in the late hours of Sunday, July 21st, following a brief illness in Monrovia. Commerce and Industry Minister Amin Modad is urging Liberians with huge business capacity to begin importing rice in the country. According to Minister Modad, government is encouraging competition in the rice market to reduce the heavy reliance on foreign importers. In an ELBC interview Monday, the Commerce Minister said, as it stands, Liberia's food security is in the hands of foreign importers, something that puts the country at risk. Mr. Amin Modad announced free import permit declarations are being issued to interested Liberians that have the capacity to compete with their foreign counterparts. Meanwhile, Minister Modad has insisted that government's overall goal is to increase local rice production and reduce the importation of rice on the local market. Buchanan City Mayor George Gabwe says the lack of logistics is hampering the enforcement of city ordinances. Mr. Gabwe named the lack of trucks, trash cans, and gloves, among others, as items hindering proper waste management in the city. He said though he inherited empty coffers, the city government has not received any financial support since taking over as Buchanan City Mayor. Mr. Gabwe also called on citizens to remove makeshift structures along the main streets of Buchanan to give the city a facelift. He spoke with a station over the weekend in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. Away from home, Ugandan security forces have surrounded the headquarters of the main opposition party in advance of a planned anti-government rally over alleged corruption and human rights abuses. Police and soldiers cut off access to the office of the National Unity Platform UNP near the capital Kampala on Monday. The threat of protests has angered longtime President Yoweri Museveni, who claimed it to be a plot being operated by unnamed foreigners. The leader of the organization, Rabo Yagulani, claimed that the blockade prevented people from entering or leaving, while some have been roughly detained. Mr. Yagulani, popularly known as Bobby Wine, added that several opposition leaders had been violently arrested. Mr. Bobby Wine, 42, a pop star turned politician, has in recent years emerged as the biggest challenger to Yoweri Museveni. The 79-year-old has ruled the East African nation since 1986. And now to end the news, a reminder of our main points. President Joseph Boakai urges Liberians to cultivate a renewed mindset to foster societal growth and development. Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering holds West African Compliance Conference in Monrovia. Government commissions new license plates following recent decommissioning of the old license plates. And in Uganda, security forces besiege headquarters of the main opposition party in advance of a planned anti-government rally over alleged corruption and human rights abuses. That's the end of the ELBC News. Hassan Kiao reporting. Good night.
You can join the station at 11 tonight for more news. You are listening to ELBC 99.9. We're transmitting from Painesville, outside the nation's capital, Monrovia. It's about time we rejoin our team for the continuation of Nightline Liberia.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Cape Mount, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandala Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there's nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I asked all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country.
Of course, Nightline Liberia is on this radio Monday to Friday, and today is Monday, and just few days to 26. We call it our own celebration, and we want to welcome you to this presentation this evening. Like we've been discussing about the free importation of rice on our Liberian market. It's something that a lot of Liberians across the world have been discussing, have been talking about. And with that, we thought it was quite important that we get people with the kind of mind that can make this vision to work. There are some negatives and there are some positives. So to get those things work together, we thought it wise to get the people with the kind of consciences that will help to make our economy better. Vandala Patrick is here. He has scouted all around the world. He's back in Liberia. He's a student advocate and one of the best, one of the activists around Liberia and around the world. You know, Vandala Patrick has been so vocal on some issues in past regimes, and it's good that we have him here tonight. We also have in an abstract form and manner in studio Thomas Kuwa, Samson Brown Toole, and that of Mr. Goya. They are all online tonight. We talk about this. So what we do now, Vandala, I'd like to welcome you back to the discussion.
Thank you.
So what we will do, we will just conclude on this rights issue because we have several issues that we can touch on tonight. We will conclude on the rights issue, then we will open the lines up to you, our precious listeners tonight. I guess you're following us too on Nightline Liberia Facebook page. If you're out there, we will put our numbers right there. You can also call from the diaspora. That will be good for us. So I just want us, while we're trying to get our people to connect with tonight, we hear from you, Vandala, before the news.
So in conclusion with this rice issue, I've been receiving calls. So you are now objective. We are very objective. The point is, the policy is good. The decision to open the market is good. We just want to clarify that. but the government should go beyond just opening the market, so you don't appear, as an institution that is not collaborating. So the first thing you have to address, the government, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry should go back to its drawing board to see how the requirement can be relaxed a little bit. $500,000, 500,000. It is very difficult for Liberian businesses to have that amount in their accounts. We want to open the market, but it should be inclusive. So in other words, if you say you open the market and Liberians do not participate because they do not have one of the major requirements, and that is to have $500,000 in the bank account before they can be allowed to import the rice, then you are now opening the market for Liberians to invest. You are opening the market to increase the number of the already existing foreigners that are already in the rice business in our country. The last thing I want to say on this matter is... But
before you come to the last thing, Vandala, before we get to the next, to a few of our panelists here online tonight, do you see this open market system as a reality from this government?
Is
it now a charade?
No. With this particular matter, I think it's a political statement. It's only meant for political correctness, because the benchmark, I don't think many Liberians will reach this benchmark. This is the same problem that made Liberians in the past, just this regime, but previous regime, not to venture in the rice business, and the rice business was in the hands of foreigners. Foreigners are capable because they have milked the resources of this country. They have imported rice from the days of Charles Taylor. Imagine, talking about 20 years ago, they have been in the rice business. So they have generated millions of United States dollars and billions of Liberian dollars. So they can easily meet the requirement. For Liberian businesses, we are poor. They have not been economically equipped to meet up with the benchmark. If any Liberian that will choose to meet the benchmark or have $1,000,000, well, that's it. But the only reason why you don't see Liberians in the rice business, you see 6 importers of rice. 5 are foreigners, Indians, and that of Lebanese. 5 of them. Only 1 Liberian business owner is part of them. So to open this rice market now with this 500 or 1,000, a minimum amount you're supposed to have in your account, I think for me, it's a problem. And the ministry
is huge. Is it huge?
It's very huge.
500,000.
Yeah, I'm talking about United States dollars. We're not talking about Liberian dollars.
I know.
So it's huge. It is difficult for many Liberian businesses to meet up with that requirement.
Why would you say it's huge, Vandala? When you want to get into something, just put your all into it. 500,000 is a small amount.
Oh, if you
your wife is more than that. I know the man Vandala Patrick.
Oh no. I don't. I pray that one day I have $1,000,000 in my account, and I will be. The reality is, we have to be honest. Before you prepare Liberian businesses, well, if the government want to remain on this benchmark, can the government subsidize Liberian businesses who are maybe 100,000 or 50,000 to say, you know what, the government of Liberia will pump $5 million to give you an opportunity to meet up with this requirement. After maybe 2-3 years of importing rice in the country, you will be able to give the government money back. Let the government give the loan to meet up with this requirement. But as it stands, it's difficult. You cannot say you're creating, open market system with the hope that Liberians, because I've been one of those, the rice importation is in the hands of foreigners, We have criticized. But I just realizing that you're supposed to have $500,000. And many of the businesses in this country will not be able to meet up with this requirement. As a consequence, these people will leave the rice market, and it will be continuously spearheaded by our Lebanese and our Indian friends who have milk, who have been successful in this rice business. Let me tell you, like I said, rice is not just a political commodity. It is an economic product. It gives millions. My brother, you bring 2 million bags of rice in this country now. In less than 6 months, everything will go.
Okay.
So you see, in conclusion, the arrest agenda talks about agriculture. The Ministry of Commerce should not just prioritize. If this regime is sincere in addressing the issue of food in this country or rice, they should increase the budget of the Ministry of Agriculture. We have 5.6 million people or over 5 million people in this country. The budget of the Ministry of Agriculture this year, this budget is now more than $5 million. I think
it's something around 8 million.
No.
Not 5?
Yeah, is I stand to be in the last time, except now it has been increased. But the draft budget I saw less than $5 million. But we think that in the coming year, if you talk about arrest, ARREST, the first thing in the arrest is agriculture. You have to prioritize that to allow our people to grow what they is, not just about rice, but other commodity as well.
Rice is our major.
Yeah, we do agree.
So Vandala, we will come back to you because we have to open the lines tonight. We will go to Thomas Guo, and this is a panel discussion tonight, and this is all what this program is intended for. We speak just in a jiffy, and we don't bore the listeners and the viewers as well. So Thomas Guo, you follow Vandala.
Yeah. So
we
one
want
thing
to
I
hear
want to
from
tell
you
you
quickly,
tonight
just
is that
2 minutes,
Vandala
and
very
then
well. He's my
we get to the
brother.
next
Give me a
panelist.
chance. We will keep talking until tomorrow. We won't leave from this place. But it's important that we take note of the government's intention.
I think Melvin, you were muted. Melvin, you are muted.
Mr. Goya, are you there?
Yeah, I wasn't hearing you because you muted yourself.
I'm live, sir.
I'm not arguing you weren't. I said you were muted.
I don't control. Anyway, you getting me now?
I'm hearing you.
Are you getting me now, sir?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. So yes, you heard a lot of discussions from us. So what's your take? Because we need to hear from the callers tonight. We need to hear from the listeners on this show.
Yeah, I listened to everything my brother Vandala had to say, and I think what Thomas was going to point out is that when you invite a bunch of people, try to make sure your time is proportional, right? I know Vandala has the benefit of being in studio, but try to make sure that we have proportional time so we all can be able to speak to the issues. Now, having said that, I mean, I'm just a math person. I'm just dividing the time here and putting it out there. That's all Vandala. but having said that, though, I think Vandala strikes very good points. And I think we have belabored this point of the $500,000 just being cost prohibitive, right? I don't think it serves fully the intent. And the intent is to open the market to a lot of Liberian businesses. So I think the $500,000, we all agree. And before we went to break, Vandala has suggested something, and that brought up a question in my mind, is he had asked about what market survey was done, what economists were contacted, and what data were they using to suggest the 500,000 would be attainable. And I think my one question also, my wondering is, and again, maybe they did this and it wasn't just in the press release, but my wondering is, was the Liberian Chamber of Commerce a thought partner in this? The ministry partner with the Chamber of Commerce and the Liberian Business Association to actually gauge their members and see if the $500,000 is something that is tenable. So that would be a wondering, and I hope if they did that they can clarify that, because that will go a long way in convincing some of us that this is indeed a good idea if they did that. Now, if they didn't do that, we will hope that in the future, as they think about stuff like this, and as other functionaries of government think about things like this, that they will go and look into the private sector for thought partners that they can be able to leverage to be able to make decisions that will benefit all of Liberia. Now, having said that, back to the budget issue, I agree that there's not enough money put into the budget to support the arrest agenda. But I do also want to own here that there has been increases across all of those sectors that support the arrest agenda. Now, I said earlier, I am a math teacher here in the United States. I would have hoped to see a lot of money put into education, a lot more than what is there right now. Because the last time we were here, Vandala talked about Article 10 of the Constitution that talks about teaching. civics in Liberian schools, teaching the Constitution in Liberian schools. How do we do that if we don't put enough money, a lot more money than what we have right now in education? I am optimistically hopeful that that the next budget we see huge jumps in agriculture and in education if the arrest agenda is truly an agenda that the Unity Party really wants to see come to fruition. But for now, yes, Vendela is right. We have very little money put into agriculture and education. But I also want to caution my brother that there were increases. So let's look at that as a glass half full, and let's see what happens going into the next budget year. Thomas, are you hearing Melvin? I can't hear him.
From your point of view as a Liberian residing there in the United States, what kind of innovation do you have to put on the table for discussion that will help to build this economy?
Well, not being a businessman, I think as an educator, I will hope that there is a lot of investment made in education, particularly the research arm of the University of Liberia and at TC. Because in this country, what I've seen is that a lot of research that has spurred the economy and has spurred businesses in this country come from universities and come from colleges. And so I will hope, if you're asking me for innovation, I will hope that the government of Liberia can see a fit to increase the amount of money to put into research and development at the University of Liberia and at TC and at other government universities. Because before I became a teacher, I'm an electrical engineer. And some of the work we did in this country before the beginning of the war in Iraq was how to work on these unmanned vehicles. So now you have drones everywhere flying around. Those came out of universities and those came out of the military before they became commercialized. And so I would think in Liberia, one of the things we can do is to invest in the University of Liberia, in the research arm of the University of Liberia. Talking about CARI, for example, we need to invest more money into CARI because that's a research institution. And those are the places where if we are really planning on feeding ourselves, the A in agriculture, and we're planning on feeding ourselves, we have to do a lot of research at CARI and at the University of Liberia. And so I will hope that for me, if you are asking me what innovation I bring, I will hope will take a stage in Liberia, I would say fund a lot of research at the University of Liberia. And I think that would be a great potential to feed our nation and put us on a path to being prosperous.
Yeah, I managed to get back.
Lines up to the public?
Thomas.
Okay, Thomas Guo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thomas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Had a low power issue switching from generator to LEC, so internet went down. But like I was saying, I think the government has a very good intention. But like I was saying, yeah, I know our next topic we actually talk about this. The internet issue in this country is one of the issues that's very, affecting a lot of stuff. But I think that the government intention is very, very, very well in place. It is well intentioned. It is intended to basically see a market where the local businesses thrive, prices stabilize, and consumers benefit from more options and quality product or quality rice. If you look at one of the guidelines as well, and I think it is good, they talk about these businesses purchasing 25% of their input from the domestic production. So I think that if the government is requiring people to produce 25%, or let's say purchase 25% from the local economy, local production, it tells you that there's a plan to expand that area, probably through some subsidy to agriculture, to farmers. But I think that by mentioning that 25%, it means that they are anticipating some kind of huge production in the local, market. And then on the other side, they also are requiring any business, especially non-Liberian businesses that will venture in the market, to make sure that they have 3 Liberians in senior management position. So that is something you see around in the neighboring countries, in West Africa, even in other African countries. You have like Ghana, even Guinea, right in our backyard. They are now ensuring that Liberians are in either owners of foreign business. I mean, they have some ownership in foreign businesses, or at least they sell some, in top management positions. So that is very laudable. So if we are actually going towards this, I think it's just meant to promote food sovereignty, right? Because the whole thing about the whole food thing is that if you can't feed yourself, then who are you? So I really think that the government is the right step in the right direction. And if they can add additional ingredients, like making, the wheat low, less friction, like creating the atmosphere where there will be less friction for Liberian businesses, that is, enabling them, ensuring that they get access to capital. If it is true, talking to our local banks to kind of reduce the interest rate, I think we can achieve this. But overall, this is a very good strategy. And if previous governments fail to do it and this government can do it, I think this government is serious about what they say they want to do.
Vandala, you heard him, and
I think Mr. To is on the line.
So we will hear from Mr. To shortly. Mr. To, are you upbeat?
Yes, I've been following in and out. Yes, I said I've been following in and out. There one, as I stated earlier, I want to push back on 2 items here. One is, and I will speak the real Liberian English, internet go up and down. You can't kick me out of the thing. One Honorable Falcon sound on it, one Honorable D-Flow sound on it, are not getting out. So go up, count down, internet, and stay here. One I want to push back on, my little brother Patrick in the studio there. I want you to stay away from this idea of he's patriotic. It made me feel bad again. Because I'm not in like brother, I'm not patriotic, it made me feel bad. So you must stay away from that one there. No, on a very serious note. The last thing I want to say about this rights issue, I can't hear you anyway. But the one thing I want to say about this rights issue, if I'm still audible, is that the Minister of Commerce is very interesting. Not only are they telling Liberians how much to pay, but they have also gone into zoning. So if you read that, they're telling the people how high the architecture of their building, the ceiling is supposed to be. I think you have to stay away from these kinds of stuff. If you want to get something that is serious, for you to come out, because what you have done, you're pretty much saying what the previous importers, the type of building they had, because they have the money. So people, Liberia will frown on these kinds of stuff. But I think they try to do their best, but they have to do better than that. With the money, it's just too much. They have to do better than that. But I like the part that Thomas mentioned earlier about having Liberian to be part of their business hierarchy. That's good. But another thing also, we should hold ourselves responsible. The government is trying to open it up. There will be Liberians that want to come into this thing with a bad intention, and they will spot away from many Liberians. There will be some of these lawmakers and say, okay, let me go into that business, knowing fully well that they're not going to be able to produce. And then when the Minister of Commerce, okay, these people are not producing, we're going to take them out, then it becomes issue for those Liberians that want to be part of this business. So I think they have to vet. And one last thing I want to say to Brother Patrick and Sissy, I want to thank you guys. Y'all continue to beat the data business into the people here. They will continue to make mistakes. If they don't follow the data business, the information collecting business, they will continue to make mistakes. And y'all keep bringing that out. Sooner or later, they will get it that with data and research, you do better. Thank you.
Patrick, I think it's time that we take some calls from the public because we have two outstanding issues that we need to talk about tonight, ranging from the president's visit or his interaction with
Elon Musk.
Elon
Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah. And he's a business tycoon. You know, when you have a business tycoon, it's something that sounds good to people who want to see such a business tycoon to bring some business or some investments to a particular environment. So the president met up with him. Then we will also look at the statement on the state of the judiciary from the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia concerning the disappointment and disapproval of the treatment melted out on the judiciary of the Liberian government by the two other branches, that of the executive and the legislative branches. So we will speak on those two concerns tonight, and later on we will let you to speak to us as well and speak to the rest of the Liberian people. So the numbers now to be a part of the conversation is 0772-876481, 0772-876481. You can call and be a part of the conversation, and of course we hope that yeah. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, Melvin.
Go ahead.
Yes. This is David Bayo. I'm joining you from my King of Liberia.
Okay.
Thomas, are you hearing the caller? Because I'm not hearing anything. Melvin, I think you muted your side, so we can't hear the caller. Mr. Stewart, you are muted. We can't hear. I can't hear you. Mr. Stewart, you are muted. Nobody's hearing you. Not even on the Facebook. Mr. Stewart, you are muted. Vendela, can you hear me? Because he's muted you too, Vendela. So once he's muted, you are muted.
Big brother, Mr. Tu, I hope the day you visit Liberia, you will have a very good opportunity. There's a call.
Yeah, Vandela, everything you and
good evening. How are you?
We are okay right here in the studio. What's your name?
Thank you. This is Robert Nwakoro, and I call you from District 17.
Go ahead, sir.
My son, Patrick, I want to say thank you so much for actually bringing up this thing to us. And this is my take on this issue. When you say Liberians should get involved into the business, first of all, I want to know, when those guys come in this country, the Lebanese, the Indians, the whosoever, the foreigner, where they can get money from before they do their business? They go straight to our bank. Why? Because they bring some money here? No, they come with their hands flying. When they go in, they carry bags of money. But what I would say, Patrick, we'll follow you, we'll be with you, you're our son, we'll continue to support you. Let the government make things easier for our business people. Encourage the people. You'll be able to monitor the Liberian business people. If I want to say the way you're going to tell me, no, don't say so. Because I want to say it the wrong way. That is, you must first of all develop trust in the Liberian people and build them up. Only Liberians, we the one that eating the rest. We know the good rest. Why will you let people that don't know the food that you're eating, or the major kind of bring all kind of rest for you to eat? So my take on it is, the money you're talking about is too much. $500,000, where you think I will get it from? So please, let us just reduce it so that we all will try and get into the business and government monitor us and supervise everything. And maybe 2-3 years from now, you will see that Liberia will get stronger in the business. Anybody that come there with cheating, government can take care of you. We can take care of you. We can put it to your plate. I think that is the only way. But to make it so hard for us, you don't want us to get into the business. You want people to take our business for continuously. Thank you for this topic tonight.
Thank you so much. Hello, caller.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello.
You are live on Night Line Liberia.
Okay. Gentlemen, thanks so much for this rewarding program. My view is this: another way we can make our people lazy. I agree with you guys partly that the 500,000 is too much. But when the other Liberians that are part of the state importer took that money for to be part of the state, we always make our people to be lazy. We condemn our people. We can just say that 10% put themselves together to join the state foreigner to bring rest. Why can't another set of 10 people put themselves together? So there's somebody will say that if the government doesn't open it up, people will start to say different things that has no idea. I mean, let it be flexible. I agree with the party to say the 500,000 too much. But if you want to open business and you are prepared, just as they can just say, don't let nobody kill with the empty hands. But they put themselves together like the Ghanaian, the Fulani put themselves together and open this money to say we ourselves Liberians can do it too. We cannot really kill our Liberian brothers all the time. They say all Liberians can't get into business, they can't stay on into business is because we don't have confidence in them. So let us leave it and see whoever Liberian can put themselves together to get into this venture to add up do you support the 500,000 that a president should possess before the import rights to Liberia? I finally agree with you guys that it's too much. But even if we say it's too much, then we don't have any Liberian get involved into bringing rest. Because even to other the sales people talk about, one is a Liberian own business. How did you know these guys get to be part of this? That means they have put themselves together and got into importing rest too. So if we say the state farmer doesn't too much, finally I agree, and also I don't agree because then we'll make other people to be reluctant. Because if the Lebanese can put themselves together, why can't we Liberian put ourselves together? Because we always say Liberian don't know business. They don't know business because the already see today. Thank you. Go far.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you tonight. We can take a few more. Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
Yes. Yeah. Vandela Patrick is here as one of the panelists live in studio. The rest are online. Go ahead. Are you there?
Yeah, will you?
Yeah, please go ahead quickly. We don't have time.
Okay, thank you very much. I listened to
Yes, first I listened to the panelists in studio, most especially Vandera Patrick, like a statement he made pertaining to the 500,000. You know, the 500,000, we have 73 lawmakers in the country. They don't want legislature that thing in the book. They see those things.
You go?
I think be harmonized.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead quickly. I don't want your credit to be harmonized.
The major problem in the country is that the horse must be actually vetted. Seriously.
Okay.
And the only way like going to move forward because all of these things we got seen it and they do it. Most of them got duty free.
Okay, Chief. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. We take one more, then we will call it for this discussion. Then Vandala will give his analysis. The rest of the panelists online tonight will give their conclusions, and then we get to another issue. Do we have another person that we can just speak with? Vandala?
Yeah, I think like as I was saying, one of the colors, it's not that we're trying to make, or the government is trying to make Liberian lazy, but for a long period of time now, Liberians have not been participating in the importation of rice. It speaks volumes that there is a problem. You want your Liberians to participate. You want to have a competition in the market, and you want Liberians to participate or take part. But for almost 6-7 rice. If the requirement was, look, the government can say, no, we can start small. For Liberian, this is the requirement for you. Maybe 250,000 or 100,000. For foreigner, this is your requirement. That way, the government will be helping Liberians. Because the government is on the ground, the government will be able to monitor Liberians. Or the government can say, okay, 500,000 across the board. But for Liberians, the government will subsidize. We'll give you some money, we'll put money so you can meet up the requirement. After you import rice in this country for 5 years or 3 years or 4 years, you must get our money back. At that time, you have generated, your profit. But nothing like that. You just come, it almost like you take someone, who attended school in the interior, maybe the in 6th grade or maybe 12th grade, another person from the city, that is in 12th grade, you bring them in a competition, not academic, but social event. Obviously, the one from, in the interior might not be able to compete with that child who knows the Monrovia in his or her palm and like that. So for me, the policy is good. Before my colleagues come in, the policy is good. But there has been a problem. Liberians are not being participating because of some reason. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry should have sat there and asked itself, why is it that Liberians are not participating? I am assuming that the only reason Liberians are not participating out of 6 importers, only 1 Liberian, is because of the huge requirement. Money matter. $500,000 is too much.
Thank God. Thank God that is money matter according to you. That's the word of Vandala Patrick. So we will shut. Let's go over to Thomas Gua. Thomas Gua. Thomas, did you hear Vandala?
Yeah, I've been coming in, I've been unbroken, but
I'm enjoying the studio earlier, today.
The fact that the government is,
Thomas
has even thought of this.
Yes, Thomas.
Yeah, the fact that the government has even thought of opening this market up is is laudable. Previous regimes or governments did not do this. They had the opportunity to do it. They did not. but this government has taken upon itself to do it, I will actually pat the government on the back. And Vanilla Patrick is not looking at other factors. To import rice, it requires insurance, and insurance overseas to import rice from abroad into Liberia is not a small amount. All right, especially with the high risks that is ongoing with the war between Israel and Palestine, with the Red Sea being blocked, and all of that. The risks in the Atlantic Ocean and other places now where bombs are falling is really costly. Insurance companies are charging humongous amount for insurance premium. So Vanilla Patrick should do some research on some of those things. In addition to that, I feel that there's still opportunity for Liberian people because when the government is thinking about, is asking you to purchase certain amount of your input from Liberia, it means that there is plan for something. And I think that plan is subsidize local farmers and all of that so they can be able to, meet the demand. All right. So with that note, I will close. All right. So with that note, I will close.
Thank you, Thomas. And so we will hear from Mr. Goya. I know you followed as well, so we want to hear from you on this conclusion, on this concluding note. As of what you laughing? I don't know why you keep laughing, Mr. Goya.
My brother Thomas said,
"Are you really satisfied with this open?"
Our rest supply. So, I don't want to tell the other rule, but I tell the Atlantic Ocean side.
We pass around where gas.
Well, that's a fact. Where even if you're passing around, there's still risk.
I just say we're going to put new GPS.
We'll take the bypass.
But we'll take capital bypass.
So, Mr. Goya, we get you got.
On a serious note, look, we have to get away from this since Gigi Rawatan thing. The other government, it hasn't been done before. If we're the government doing it. If you're going to think, you should think critically. You should consider all aspects. Half thinking is not good. Yes, the intent is good. The intent, we've all acknowledged that, including Vandella is acknowledged that the intent is good. But we're looking at the process to get to the intent. And what is the effect? Because sometimes I can intend to be nice to you in a way I greet you. But sometimes the effect of that greeting might not be what the intent was. The intent is to get a lot of Liberian businesses involved in importing rice. And then you come up with $500,000, which is very cost prohibitive. It prevents a lot of Liberians from getting in. And one of the things we're not even considering here is that what is the credit worthiness? What is the access to credit in Liberia from banks to Liberians? Because if I want to go say I want to go get credit from the bank, $500,000, you have to look at, would we have data out there from any of our government agencies that show how much credit is given out to Liberians from banks in Liberia? Or do we even have anything to support that the ministry, even though they had a good intent, partner with the Liberian Chamber of Commerce, with the Liberian Business Associations to see if this $500,000 was appropriate to allow Liberians to get into the business. So just announcing that we want this, and then you go ahead and create roadblocks, it creates a problem. So yes, the intent is good. Nobody has judged the intent. I am glad for the intent. But I'm looking at the roadblocks that got created that will hamper a lot of Liberians from having access to the market that we're hoping to get Liberians to have access to.
Well, I think Tom has caught up with us. We've been told, I don't know whether we're going to extend to talk about this Elon Musk stuff. There's no time. But let me just give my parting comment. For those of us who have lived in this country, relax 100%, rely 100% on rice. The intent of the Ministry of Commerce is good, but I don't want this to be a political statement only meant for political correctness. We've seen people here, they make sweeping statements. The arrest agenda must live by its fundamental principles. In the arrest agenda, it talks about number one, agriculture. In the next budget, I want to see this government putting more money, millions of dollars in agriculture, to have agriculture cooperatives across the country, empower them to grow more rice. It is a shame, it's a disgrace to rely on foreigners to import rice in our house or in our houses. I think that should stop. We've gone too far now. Finally, the requirements, the 500,000 can stay. The government can choose to select or vet few Liberians, businesses, maybe encourage 2-3 businesses to come together to meet up with this requirement of 500,000 and be a part of the rice importation. Someone suggested this is how the Indians and the Lebanese started. Can we are encouraging Liberian businesses. You people, maybe 5 businesses can come together, everybody chip in their thing, and then meet up with this requirement, import rice in the country, and then the government will prioritize you. Some of us will come to this platform and will say, go to this store, go and buy your rice. We will promote you. And it's also good to be clear. Most Liberians, from what I have gathered in the banking institutions, when they take loan, they don't pay. And we have to state that clearly. When they take loan, they don't pay. And when they go for loan, the people will fritter them in a Liberian way. They will fritter them and say, you can't pay debt. We're not giving you loan. The other foreigners, when they go there to get loan, because they can pay, they will give it to them. So we, in as much as we are advocating for you, but some of you are wicked to the banks. When you take loan, you don't pay. And we want this to stop. Thank you to the Minister of Commerce and Industry, but you need to review some of your policies. And my dear brother will talk to the rice that is coming in the country, those ships to use different GPS. So when the bombs are dropping in the sea, we'll ask them not to pass there. I'm referring to Thomas. Thank you.
So Vandala, are there some recommendations to Liberian business-owned personalities?
Of course, my recommendation to all of them. I think somebody is on the line. Thomas, let me just conclude. I just recommended that if you have like 2-3 businesses, because rice is lucrative business, and there's no doubt about that. Rice is lucrative. Every household in this country eats rice. So I'm encouraging Liberian businesses, at least 2-3 to come together to meet up with this requirement, or maybe engage the government of Liberia to subsidize some of those Liberian businesses intending to import rice. That way you can be able to meet up with the requirement and import rice in the country. In less than 6 years, brother, will produce billionaires and millionaires in Liberia.
Okay, Vandala. And I guess Liberians are listening, and they are so happy for the kind of way the way we've propended this conversation tonight. Hope that it was quite fascinating. And Vandala, like I said, this is the time that we have to be out of this platform. I leave you and say thanks ever so much for always adhering to the cause of the people of the Liberia Broadcasting System to form part of this. And also Thomas Guo, he's one of us, and Samson Brown Tour, and that of Mr. Goya. Thanks ever so much for all of what you've told the Liberian people tonight on this platform. Hope that we can have another time. Thank you. So, Vandala, before we hear from our people online quickly.
I thank you. It's always good to be here. I like the diversity of views. The views expressed here, we want to make this very clear that it is meant to promote good governance. We are not against any ministry or agency of government, but we just want to be very clear that we don't want business to be as usual. And this government is the first to do this government is the first. No, we want to be very proactive. Our people are suffering, and policies must be designed that are reflective of the people before you come up with decision, conduct survey, conduct research. Why in the past only one Liberian was importing rice? It should claim the attention of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Once they realize that there was a problem, they can help them to address that. But again, the intent is good, but they need to review some of the indicators. Thank you.
Thank you. So I can hear from Thomas Guo quickly, sir.
Yeah, so I think I'm being misconstrued, because when it comes to the issue of the 500,000, I was the first person who raised the issue that, look, in as much as the intention is great, let us see how we can subsidize this thing. Let's see how we can probably find a way so that Liberians can be able to have access to capital, right? And infrastructure, if possible, not just the 500,000 or not just the money, but also infrastructure. The government can build places or provide certain facilities where our, farmers or even the rice importers can use. Like in Lofa, for example, you have places like LPMC, right? They have a lot of great infrastructure they used to have before the war. So if we have places where farmers can bring their products and even interact with these importers, let's say these buyers, definitely that will help, because that is an infrastructure that house tons of agricultural products.
Thomas, we don't have time. We don't have time to go back and forth
so,
anyway.
On that note, I would just say that, hey, it's not that I'm saying,
thank you.
Business as usual. The president is saying, in fact, Vanilla Patrick is quoting the president when he says that, it shouldn't be business as usual. That's the president's motto.
No business as usual, sir. Thank you. We hold you right there, Thomas Guo. Thank you. And so let's hear from Samson Brown-Toll. Mr. Toll or Mr. Goya, which one of you there? Okay, Mr. Goya is there. Mr. Goya, let's hear from you quickly.
Let me wrap this up real nice. It's always nice to be on. I don't take this lightly to be able to speak to Liberians and speak to my people. So I appreciate the opportunity, ELBC, and it's really nice to always have my brother Vandela on. And Thomas, it's nice meeting you. I was just messing with you with that whole bomb business. But having said that, I think the intent of the ministry was great. I hope they can listen to what we said here today and what various scholars have said about the issue of the $500,000. But one thing I want to stress, actually two things. I hear my brother Vandela keeps talking about subsidy. Subsidy is a good thing. Most times, but in the Liberian context, if you remember the last time we gave rice subsidy, some people said it was supposed to receive 11 million. They didn't get this, they didn't get that. It was a whole kerfuffle. So I will hope that if we're going to go through that pathway, that there's actually a system laid out to make sure we don't make it a corrupt practice. Having said that, I will close by saying that I hope that the issue.
Mr. Goya, we don't have time now.
Yep, rice importation does not overshadow just the growth that we have in our country, but we still focus on DCADP, LCADP, NCADP, all of those DCADPs and smallholder rice projects and all those other places. Thank you so much for having me on. All of those DCADPs and smallholder rice projects and all those other places. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we couldn't have got the last or the concluding statement from Samson Brown-Toll. It was wonderful having all of you. Vandala, thank you so much for being part of the conversation tonight.
Thank you.
Hope that please open Vandala to say thank you.
Well, thank you, and we hope to be here again tomorrow.
Thank you. Is Vandala Patrick's a public administrator and a panelist on these engagements here on the National Broadcaster. Of course, my name is Melvin Stewart, and thanks to Johnson Wallace, who has been here making sure that we are online and on the radio as well. D-Flow was also here and making sure that we do all of what we have to do for the Liberian people. Until tomorrow at 8 in the evening when this program comes on, my name is Melvin Stewart, bidding you a very pleasant goodbye from Pennsylvania.